Welcome back to the channel, everyone. My name is Darth Slone, your official partnered content creator for Expansive Worlds. And we are in a fight right here. We have switched down to 8-pound line. 8-pound just monofilament line. Staying on brown trout, we're going to see if dropping down about 3 pounds in line strength. There's a 16.88 pound 299 XP, and we're going to see if it how many it takes dropping down about 3 pounds in line strength here, if it makes a difference at all. It took 43 brown trout the last time, so we're going to compare stats this time and see what happens. I know one thing, you can't go wrong with brown trout because they really give you a lot of XP, but now are we biting off way too much more than we can chew because we've not hooked into a really big one yet. But anyway, guys, if you would, please do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe, and notify bell if you haven't. This is going to be the 5th video of this series. After this, I'm going to go searching for a fish. I've not decided which one it's going to be yet. A fish that will let me do a bait caster on it, or a spinner, and see if that makes any difference, because I've had some poles in the past just didn't seem like they were leveling as good. If I used like a spinner as a bait caster, it didn't seem like I was getting as much XP. So I was going to compare that, and I was going to do that on brown trout, but there's just no way to eliminate Atlantic salmon or the Arctic char. And so I'm still searching for a fish that maybe I could do that with. We got to find like a good one that's not going to be too tough to get in, because we're looking for a fish that'll give us XP the quickest. And I don't want to fight for 5 minutes, on a big fish. That's just, it's not making good use of your time and being efficient. But anyway, guys, hit that like, subscribe, notify bell. Let me know in the comments what you would like to see next. Bring a cousin, aunt, uncle over. Tell them to hit that sub button for old Darth here. Let's hop into this experiment. Well, I sat there, during that intro, wondering why in the world I wasn't getting a bite. Had the wrong pole out, and wrong bait and everything. I had my Tiff Talker out, and the Power Nexus, and a big old hook. I don't know what I was fishing for, but that's the reason the brown trout were not biting after I recasted. So we should start getting some more coming in here now. Oh gosh, this thing's huge. Well, the old nibble and leave trick. It's a good fish here we've hooked into on this little 8-pound line, or at least it's fighting like one. Curious to see if we catch a big gold, how much XP it would bring on this little 8-pound line. Got to be careful not to let it stay in that cherry red for too long a time. There we go. Oh, that is a gold. 347 XP for a 20.79. Nice one. All right, guys, we have just discovered that it took a little bit less, but not much, to get to 5% catching brown trout. We already had that baseline established of 43 of them caught to get to 5%, but that was on the 11-pound braided. So I wanted to test what would happen if we move down to the 8.82 pound line, move down like, 3 pounds in line strength using the fluorocarbon, to see if it would take less fish to catch the brown, to get to the 5% on the brown trout. So let's count. Still unsure, but I know it's less than 40. It took 43, so let me look. I've not took the time to count yet. As soon as we hit 5%, I went ahead and All right, so there is the last fish. So that is 19 on that page. So 39. So 39 on 8-pound test for brown trout then. I didn't notice too much of a difference in the fight, but you're knocking 4 fish off, basically, by using the 8-pound test on the brown trout. So I think next up after this, I'm going to go with Xander, and there's a couple things I want to test. There was a DLC rod. I'm still trying to find it. I don't have it leveled yet, and I'm going to look into this a little bit more. But I set that DLC rod up, which was a spinner, as a bait caster. I've talked about this in my streams a little bit. And I wasn't getting as much XP, and I was catching the same size fish. And I was like, what in the world? And then I switched over to spinner and started getting, 3 and 4% on these fish. I was like, so does that affect things? So that's the next thing I'm going to test. But I'm going to do it with Xander. You can't really test these brown trout as a bait caster because the Arctic char and the Atlantic salmon won't leave you alone. There's just no way to single them out. But now for the Xander, there is. You can go over on Spain and use the bait caster for Xander there and not be bothered, I don't think, by other things. So that's what we're going to test. Anyway, guys, that was it. We caught 39 brown trout on the 8-pound test versus 43 brown trout on the 11-pound test. What that tells me is if I'm going to do that, and we never hooked into a big diamond, what would have happened had we hooked into a big diamond? Would it have spooled us and snapped us? I'm going to say the safest bet when you're just eliminating 4 fish, use the 11-pound braided. When you factor all that in, what's 4 more fish, Plus, if you do hook into that big diamond, it's going to give you that extra line to keep from getting spooled and buy you some time to tire that fish out. So that would be my advice, is stick with the 11-pound braided, even though, you're looking at 43 brown trout versus 39 brown trout. And is it going to be that same number every time, no matter how many golds or diamonds? Me and Split have talked about that. Is it XP, or is it just a set amount of fish based on the class of that fish? Now, I'm sure that if you drop down and start catching a lot of bronze, for example, brown trout, it's probably going to take more. So I don't know. There's more testing to come. We just hit 5%. But my advice right now, just based on everything I'm seeing, go with the 11-pound braided on the brown trout, just in case you hook into that big one, because that's not really worth the extra trouble to knock off 4 fish, to use 8-pound test. So, but that's why we're experimenting and testing all this stuff. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hit that like, subscribe, notify bell. Really appreciate the support, guys. We are on pace to hit 10,000 subs. If you guys can help me out, tell a friend, tell a mamaw, first cousin once removed, get over here and drop that sub for Darth. He's putting that work in. Wednesday nights are a blast. I've decided to keep it. I know we've found all the legendaries now, but how fun's it going to be? And it'll get to the point to where maybe when these get old, maybe we just spin a wheel or something and decide which map we're going to go look for the legendary on. Who knows what's to do with it, but I'm liking the 9 p.m. to 12 p.m. stream, 12 a.m. stream, midnight, whatever you want to call it. I'm liking that once a week. I can do that once a week. The other streams will be 7 to 9 p.m. except for Mondays and Tuesdays. Mondays and Tuesdays we'll keep it 4:30 to 6:30 p.m. because we're kind of split in our poll. So we'll do that. That way it accommodates for everybody. But thank you guys so much. It's been a blast fishing with you guys. Look forward to fishing with you tonight at 7 p.m. Depending on when you're watching this video, actually. If you're watching it on a Friday or Saturday, we may not be streaming, because that's just kind of those deals where if I'm home with nothing to do, I'll stream on a Friday or Saturday, but usually we're out trying to do something, maybe outdoors doing something, or hunting or fishing, or spending time with the family, or going out to watch a movie or something like that. Everybody needs that recreational time. I appreciate you guys. My name's Darth, Slone, official Call of the Wild EW partner, and we will catch you next video.